Hey, YouTubers, Tasman here, bringing you another episode of Fantasy Grounds Unity from the ground up. And in our last episode, we ran into some issues creating our cleric, and it's kind of weird because I said I was gonna go into like classic, create the cleric, and then import the character sheet. However, I just went over to my admin one and or the GM one, and it all actually seemed fine in here. So remember, we were running into the issue where the life domain spells weren't showing up. Like, it was up at the top and you couldn't scroll higher. It was acting really weird. Once again, I can't stress this enough. Fantasy Grounds Unity is early access. It's beta. It's, all those things. These issues are going to be fixed by the time it's released. I always want to stress that because, I'd really hate for people to go, oh, well, Fantasy Grounds Unity doesn't even work. I'm not going to ever try Fantasy Grounds. This is beta, early access. I can guarantee there will be performance issues, there will be crashes, there will be bugs and everything like that. However, it is early access and beta, so they will be fixed. They're not going to release the full version when the time comes, with all these issues. So, anyway, now that that's out, what I was figuring we would end up doing then is maybe instead of creating our characters here, we'll actually create them in the admin screen, because it definitely seems like the admin screen is well, I call it admin screen, the GM screen is the one that actually, is what is working really well, whereas and I don't know if it's the networking portion of it or what, but we definitely see lots of issues with the player screen. So there were a couple things that I just remembered that I needed to do with our cleric, and one of those was we had to choose languages. So I came in here and I actually chose. Well, actually, I guess it didn't save it yet, or something. I don't know. Uh, I wonder if I do this character celestial. It didn't save the other two. That's kind of strange too, because I actually added them over here. So let's see if it actually remembered them over here. Yes. So here you can see I added Infernal, Celestial, and Undercommon. So Undercommon is kind of like common, but for like the Underdark and the Underworld and stuff like that. So it's kind of the common of the Underdark, I guess is all I could say. Infernal, I always mess this up. I think Infernal is demonic. It's speaking to demons, and Celestial is like celestial type beings. So it's interesting. I wonder if I release her and then re-pick her up if it. Oh, wait, why is she not there? Oh, because this is the admin screen. I just released her from the other screen. This is where it gets a little bit confusing, switching between the two screens. So if we go in here, owned by Tasman, I'm going to go ahead and clear the owner on everybody. And I also created a template so far for our sorcerer, and the reason I did that is because a lot of the first parts we've done 3 times now. We don't need to do those too much more. All right, so now if I do that, I should be able. Yes, there we go. All right, so we can click on Mercy. Let's see if abilities. Yeah, okay, so it doesn't remember those. I don't care. That's not a big deal. So I'm going to release that, and we'll go back to the admin one right over here, the GM screen. And we're going to go ahead and click on Mercy here. So, as you can see, it said choose. So that's where I chose Celestial. And then I guess right here we'll just do the Undercommon. Under COMMON. And for this one, we'll actually say, what was it? Infernal, Infernal. So this will give her her languages. The other thing I missed on her was when we were doing her, and now I don't have that information up, so let's go grab it right here. There we go. When we were working on her, we were going through her equipment and I missed one item, and it's actually a pretty important one because I want to show you something special. But you'll see we got to choose between a priest pack or an explorer's pack, and then we also gave her the holy symbol, but we didn't give her a shield. Now, this is kind of a technicality of the game in general, and I believe there's probably very few DMs that actually enforce this, but if you are actually playing in a, so to speak, realistic way, let's go give her a shield real quick. And what I want to point out is, so right now she has an AC of 16. If we go look at the shield, SHIE shield right here, you'll see that a shield gives her a +2 to her armor. So when we add the shield, it'll automatically add that +2 to her armor. So did it give her a shield? Yes, right there. And now you'll see that this actually bumped up to 18. Now, in a semi-realistic world, we're looking at her using her crossbow, right? So her crossbow, technically, if you look at it, is a two-handed weapon, which means I'm not going to be able to be holding a shield and my crossbow at the same time, which would mean in order for me to use my crossbow, technically my armor clash, or my armor rating should go down by 2, down to 16. And we can actually code that. So what we can do is come down here, and I'm going to stick it under standard actions. Let's go ahead and just add a new standard action, and we're going to call this stow shield. So we're going to say STOW SHIELD. And we're only going to make it do it for one action, so it'll only last for one turn. You put away your shield, so to speak, and you fire your crossbow. The next round, you're going to have your shield back. So it's automatically going to replace your shield when it's done. To do this, what we want to do is right-click on this field that we just did. We're going to click on the arrow here for add action, and we're going to add an effect. Now, the way the effects work is the first part is going to be the description. So in this case, whoops, didn't mean to do that. So in this case, we need to click here. So you can see it's the description, the condition, and the modifiers. So we want this to last, let's see, 1 round, right? So we'll say 1 round. The target is always going to be herself, and it expends never, which means she could do it every turn if she wanted, but this will make it more realistic for when she's getting attacked. So the first thing is the description, STOW SHIELD, and you can have spaces and stuff in there. To tell it that I'm moving on to the conditions portion, I do a semicolon. And what is this going to do? This is going to change our AC, and we use a colon, and then we say -2. So this is going to change our AC down 2. It's going to kind of cause a disadvantage. Not really a disadvantage. It's going to lower our AC, make it a little easier to hit us because we don't have our shield up. So that's all we do. We do that. And now if we come in here and we, do we have mercy in here? We do not. We got to get rid of this one because that was a test. So if we add mercy down here, and we have a skeleton here that can shoot at her, right? So right now, and this is going to be definitely a hit or miss. Let's see. So let's go ahead. It's him. Let's go ahead and control click her. And now you'll see he's targeting mercy. So if we do an attack, anything that is a Anything that is an 18 and higher should hit. So this is going to take some, hit and miss. Definitely if we roll low like that. So here we go. Here's a hit that's a 19. So we know that works. That's just the default. Now, when we apply this effect to Mercy, so we come in here and we choose action and we say, okay, I'm stowing my shield. You'll see that it does say she's stowing her shield. The duration is for 1 round. So once this hits the bottom, the little initiative tracker hits the bottom and goes back to the top, it will undo this effect automatically. And we'll go over that. But what I wanted to show you is right now an 18 and higher will hit her. Well, when we stow our shield, it should now be a 16 or higher. So let's see if we can at least get a 16 or 17. 19. Poop. There's a 14. There's an 18. That's still a hit. We just need a 16 or 17 to prove this. Come on. You can do it. 20. Come on, help me out just a little bit so we don't have to do this forever. There's a 14, so that's still a miss, right? We said 16 or 17. Come on, give me something. That one didn't even roll. That was weird. Oh. Is it? Yeah, it's still rolling. So there's a... Wait. I wasn't paying attention. Let's make sure this is... Yeah, it's still going. 10. Come on. Just give me a 16 so I can prove this. There's 12. It's going to give me everything except for what I want. A 16 or a 17. Those are two things. Oh, we just got a critical miss. We'll just ignore that for now. Come on, come on, come on, come on. 13. There we go, 16. So you see she's now a 16 and she's hit. If we go look at the actual main here, it doesn't actually show, because this is an effect, it doesn't actually change her AC here. Be kind of nice if it did, but it doesn't. But you can see it actually works like that. Now if we say, okay, it hits, once we finish her turn, it actually removes that effect. Let's put it on her turn real quick. And let's just show you what we mean here. So we're going to stow the shield again. Boom. Like so. So now we go back and you'll see it's still on her. So it's re-rolling initiative. We did that. And the next time after it's her, it's gone. So you can see it lasts for 1 round. That might have seemed just a little weird the way that worked, and that's because we re-roll initiative each round, and I've kind of explained how to do that. So that was the one thing I wanted to point out here. So that was 13 minutes of showing how to do that. Let's see. So let's go ahead and work on creating then our sorceress. And once again, I just used one of my WoW character names. So if we come in here, this is my WoW. She's actually my priest in WoW. But this is going to be our sorcerer. And as you can see, I did not roll her stats because I think that's fun to do with you guys. So you can see with what I did, and I just kind of randomly picked. I didn't actually focus much on, doing a powerhouse or, this is most advantage to be a noble. I just kind of picked out of random. But if we go ahead and do our dice rolls here, we hit 1, and remember we could also hit F1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So you can see she's got some pretty good rolls. She's got a 10, which isn't the best. Okay, so she has a +2 to strength. Really, a sorcerer is not going to want strength. Technically, I think we'd want more of her stuff. I think she uses charisma for her spellcasting modifier. So we could have definitely picked a better class and a better race to give us more stats. However, sometimes it's good to choose a character that's not necessarily the status quo. You know, not every elfin character is going to be an archer or a rogue because of the high dex. So, you know, this might make it a bit of a challenge to play the character, but that also creates fun. So I'm going to say we could add, I think I'm going to put my dump stat in the strength, which means it'll just stay at 12. And the reason I'm going to do that is because that will make it so we're more average than normal on everything else. We'll only have, so that's our 10, which is a 12. The thing we want to decide, and I just got to verify this real quick, but I believe if we go to spellcasting, our spellcasting modifier is charisma. So that's what we actually want the highest for her. So we have that at 11. I think we're going to up that to, we're going to take the 16 and put it in there, which will put it up to 17. We've already used that. Then we have two 15s. I'm actually going to put them probably in dex to increase our AC just a little bit, make us a little harder to hit, and our con to give us just a little bit more life. And that leaves us with a 14 and an 11, which we could put in intelligence and wisdom. I'm going to put the 14 in wisdom because we do lots of perception and things along those lines. And then intelligence, we'll actually put the 14, right, or the 11. So there are our stats for our character. The only thing we have to do now on this page, because I already did everything else, is come in here and say, okay, so we got +2 on con, we got a d6, so that turns into an 8. Really low hit points. We definitely hope we don't get hit much on, and hopefully with our dex being 15, giving us an extra 2, will help that. All right, so let's move on. We've already selected the skills. The skills I chose, I think it was history and insight that actually came with our background, and arcana and persuasion were the two. I really didn't have much choice on our class, so that's okay. So here we can see we have all our different things. We have common, draconic, and then we get one more of our choice. So let's choose, what should we choose for our other language? Maybe we speak draconic. Let's speak orc. I wonder if it's orc or orcish. ORC. We can look right here since we're on the GM screen. And we can go, it's just orc. Okay. So there we go. So there's our other language. Now, I also made her a wild magic sorcerer. And the reason for this is because we actually have a nice wild magic table. But I thought it'd be kind of fun. So what this does, if you look, your innate magic comes from the wild forces of chaos that underline the order of creation. You might have endured exposure to some form of raw magic, perhaps through a planar portal leading to limbo, the elemental planes, or the mysterious far realm. Perhaps you were blessed by a powerful fey creature or marked by a demon, or your magic could be a fluke of your birth, with no apparent cause or reason, without any, However, it came to be. This chaotic magic churns within you, waiting for an outlet. So what wild magic does, if we click and see, at level 1 we get this wild magic surge. What it means is anytime, starting when you choose this origin at first level, your spellcasting can unleash surges of untamed magic. Immediately after you cast a sorcerer spell of first level or higher. So basically, anytime you cast a spell that's not a cantrip, you can roll a d20. If you roll a 1, then you roll on the Wild Magic Surge table, and a random magical effect can happen. So this could be anything from your skin turning blue, getting a feather, a beard of feathers, having a fireball land on you, and basically anyone around you is going to get affected. Those are definitely some of the negative ones. Well, that one's a negative one. The other ones are kind of fun. But it also has lots of other things, like you can fly for the next, 10 minutes or whatever. So, I mean, we can actually go look at that if we come into tables here. We can go and look at, let's type wild. So here you can see Wild Magic Surge right here, the D200 table. So let that pull up. So what this does is this will roll when it'll automatically roll for you. And first thing it does when you have Wild Magic Surge is it rolls the D20, and on a 1 it says, oh, actually this is the default one. But what it'll do is you'll roll a d20. If you roll a 1 on that d20, then it triggers one of these. So for example, here an eye appears on your forehead for the next minute. During that time, you have advantage on wisdom perception checks that rely on sight. So you get some good things. You instantly grow a long beard made of... Wow, isn't that interesting? That's like those are the two... Well, no, I didn't say the eye. I said skin turns blue, but that's the second one that I mentioned. The beard of feathers. You are transported to the astral plane until the end of your next turn, after which you return to the space you previously occupied or the nearest unoccupied space. So that says, on your turn, you cast your magic, and basically it's keeping you safe for a turn because you are teleported or transported to the astral plane. So pretty cool stuff. And I think it always adds a lot of fun. So let's go ahead and we don't need to worry too much about this stuff. What I wanted to work on is this. So I've added all her different things from her background and for her class. Or is it her race? No, her class. But we need to go look at... Actually, I needed spellcasting still up. We need to go look at, one, find out how many spells she gets. Are they known spells or what? And we're also kind of testing to see if this will screw up. I'm not sure if it will. But anyway, let's go ahead and look. So as a sorcerer, this is the sorcerer spell list. You have cantrips, you have your first level spells, and obviously that's as far as we're going to be able to go. Let's see. So the sorcerer table shows how many spell slots you get. So if we go, and I don't have it here, but that's okay. We can grab it right here real quick. Sorcerer. Yes, I did. So we can see as a sorcerer, we have no points yet, and that I might show you how to do sorcery points in just a minute. So we get 4 cantrips, which is good to know, and we know 2 spells and their first levels. So we get to know 2 first level spells. So let's go ahead and look at spells real quick. Go here, and we get 4 cantrips. So let's go spells. It says not responding for a second. All right, so here are spells. We want to do it from spells. See, this actually works here. We can actually see the drop down. Then we want source to be a sorcerer. Scored sorcerer. And we want our cantrips first. So let's go ahead and choose 4 cantrips. Oh, not standard, sorcerer. Alright, so we have Acid Splash, Blade Ward, Booming Blade, Chill Touch, Control Flames, Create Bonfire, Dancing Lights, Firebolt, Friends, Frostbite, Green Flame Blade, Gust, Infection, Light. I don't actually have Dark Vision, so I think I am going to choose Light, because this just creates a light source that lasts, how long does it last? Like an hour? Yes, an hour. So I think that would be a good one for a character that does not have dark vision. As you can see, no senses of dark vision as a dragonborn. Um, and then there's always, you could always go and, oh, I just want all the damage that I can get. But some of these other ones you can actually use very creatively to help in maybe non-combat situations. Like there's Prestidigitation. Learn to say that one, where you can create an instantaneous, harmless sensory effect, such as a shower of sparks, a puff of wind, faint musical tones, or odd odor. You can create instantaneous light or snuff out a candle, torch, or small campfire. So pretty cool. You instantaneously clean or soil objects no larger than 1 cubic foot. You chill, warm, flavor up to 1 cubic foot of non-living material. So you can do cool stuff. So it's not always the best to, oh, this one does the most amount of damage. I usually like to try and keep it kind of even. Like a light, obviously this is not going to do any damage at all. One thing it might be able to do, for example, is let's see, does it say bright light? Yeah, so bright light means if we're in the Underdark and we cast a bright light that shines on say, drow, they actually get disadvantage because they're sensitive to bright light. So yeah, it could be good. Acid Splash is one I kind of like. Or is it Acid Splash? Or it might be Poison Spray I'm thinking of. Firebolt, definitely a good one too. Dancing Lights could be one for, creating distractions and stuff. So let's go ahead. We're at 27 minutes. We gotta hurry. I think I like Poison Spray. It's pretty good. So maybe we'll do Poison Spray. There we go. And also, I think it's Firebolt that I kind of like. You hurl a mote of fire. Yeah, let's do Firebolt. This will give us a chance of doing poison damage and doing fire damage. So that gives us at least 2 types of damage we can do. We have our light spell, Mold Earth, Prestidige Ray of Frost, Shape Water, Shocking Grasp, Sword Bust. I think, wasn't there one up here? What's Blade Ward? I think that might be one that's kind of cool. You extend your hand and trace the sigil warding in the air. Until the end of your next turn, you have resistance against bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing. So this kind of makes it so your sorcerer can have the same benefits as a barbarian, which is kind of cool. All right, so we get those. We get 2 first level spells. And here we go. So Burning Hands is always a good one that people usually do. Chromatic Orb, if you're looking with the Rob 2E stuff, if you see this little $sign, this means it takes some kind of special component that actually has something. So in order to use Chromatic Orb, you would have to have a diamond worth at least 50 gold pieces. You'll also notice other things might have components, a pinch of powder or sand that is colored red, yellow, and blue. However, these things are considered in your component pouch, so they're kind of freebies. You don't actually have to worry about them. They're more. Did I even give myself a component pouch? I think, or an arcane. No, I gave myself a focus. I believe it's a crystal necklace. There it is, crystal necklace focus. So there's things like that. So some handy ones might be, since we only get 2, I don't remember what Chaos Bolt is. You hurl an warring mass of chaotic energy. One creature in range. Choose one of the d8s. The number rolled on the die determined is the attack damage as shown below. Oh yeah, so that could be kind of cool because then it randomly does a specific kind of damage. Let's go and do that. That could be nice. Chaos Bolt. Like I said, we're not necessarily going for the things that do the most, or are pure damage dealing. Featherfall, always a nice one to have. Mage Armor is a good one. Because we have our cantrip of Blade Ward, I think we'll not do that one right now. And you got to keep in mind, you're only going to be able to do this twice. I think Witch Bolt is a good one too. Dun, dun, dun. On hit, target takes lightning damage. You can use your action to deal 1d12 lightning damage. Target automatically. The spell ends if you use your action to do anything else. So it looks like each turn, as long as you maintain concentration up to 1 minute, which would be 10 rounds, you could actually do 1d12. And do they get to do a save? What did it say? Stained Arc of Lightning. It doesn't actually say they have to save, so that's actually pretty good too. Witch Bolt. Maybe we'll do that. And as long, so like you could cast that and it does its damage as long as you don't do another action on your next turn. It does another 1d12 damage, and it'll just keep doing that for 10 rounds. So that seems pretty cool. So once again, we're at 32 minutes. This kind of, what I wanted to show you real quick is the sorcery points. And I'm not exactly sure where I'd want to keep it, but it's kind of like the same thing as where we were creating our healing, our consumables and stuff. It's going to be that same type of thing. You do have to manually keep track of it, but if we go in here and add a power, go ahead and turn that off. We can call this SORCER, sorcery maybe. Is that spelled right? And we'll call this SORCERY, sorcery points. And then as soon as we click off of that, like up here or something, or somewhere else. Oh, it actually says sorcery already. So all we'd have to do to create this is if we go into preparation mode, we can just say how many sorcery points we have. So right now we don't have any, so we would just leave it blank. But at right here, wait, where was it? It was right here actually, sorcery points. So at level 2 we actually get 2, and what we would do is simply change this 2 to a 2. The other thing we'd want to check is let's go ahead and look. Oh, we're not going to see it here. We're going to have to go into Sorcerer and go to Font of Magic. Where would it tell us about our sorcery points? And that's level 1, so it's probably going to be here. Yes, sorcery points. So it says here you gain more as you gain higher levels. You can never have more sorcery points than shown on the table for a thing. Regain sorcery point when you finish a long rest. So what you want to do here is in our thing, wherever it went, do we still have it up? I guess it's right here. So daily means it's a long rest. If we say rest, this is a short rest. Once means you can cast it once and they're just gone. You don't get them back when you rest. you'd have to come in here manually and reset it. So daily is, you know, it's an 8-hour period. So this is also talking about rest. So what we would do, for example, here is we would have that. And then you could see, once we go into our mode here, you could see these are our sorcery points, and you could say, okay, I just used a sorcery point to do, and we'll talk about those later, what they actually do. Once you've used both of them, it disappears because we're in combat mode. If we go back, you'll see it still says we have the two there. If we go back into, actually that's not the one I wanted, standard, we can actually erase them manually. However, if the DM, which is I, right clicks here and says rest and give a long rest, you'll see it actually replenishes both those. So there we go. I think we're at 35 minutes, so I think this is a good stopping point. Our next video is probably, I can't remember what I said my schedule is going to be, but I believe the next video now is going to be taking a PDF version of an adventure. We're going to convert it to Fantasy Grounds, which means we're going to learn how to do our own parcels, our own quests, our own encounters, our own NPCs, our own maps, our own story, our own table. We're going to learn all that stuff in the next episode. Now, I'm not 100% sure how many episodes it's going to be. I'm going to try and keep them at 30 minutes because I kind of like having them be fairly short so you don't get overwhelmed with this stuff, and it gives you a chance to practice, you know, after the 30 minutes what we learned. So thank you guys so much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed. Hopefully you learned some. Hopefully you you know, had fun. And if you did, be sure to leave a thumbs up down below. Helps me tremendously on YouTube. Aside from that, comment, like, subscribe. Click the little bell notification thingy so you know when I post new videos. I always forget to say that. But if you want to know when I upload new videos, that's the way to do it. Click the little bell. Follow me on Twitter, like I said, in Discord if you want to know what's going on, if you want to chat with me. And that's about it. So, well, also there's my Great Big Game giveaway. When I hit 1,000 subs, giving away 57 Steam games and 1 copy of Fantasy Grounds Classic Standard Edition. And that's it. So until next time, I'll be seeing you later. Bye.